Monthly partner in brief of ongoing progress work on the shutdown of Lagos Infrastructure.
Bring all the traffic into this direction.
We are going to work to ensure that the road will.
Hello and welcome to another interesting edition of your program, Infrastructure Weekly. I am your host, Ajibola Omuchekwa. On this week's edition of the program, we'll be taking you around project sites across the country from the power, works and housing sector and transports. Join us after this break for us to properly set sail on the program and stay tuned.
Coming together of opportunities. This is what
infrastructure is the backbone of development, which explains the Buhari government's effort at bridging the facility gap. Infrastructure Weekly is a television package designed to bring you latest information on hundreds of development projects going on in various sectors all over the nation.
There is no state in Nigeria today where you will not see our contractors busy at work.
Power generation, rural electrification, road rehabilitations, national housing scheme, construction of roads and rail lines across the country, you name it.
We are now able to produce 7,000 megawatt of power. That is no longer debatable.
Infrastructure Weekly is Nigerians working together for a better Nigeria. So be better informed to take better informed decisions. Watch Infrastructure Weekly, showing on Channels Television Thursdays 2:30 p.m., NTA Network Wednesdays 5 p.m., and Core TV News Fridays at 8 p.m. Infrastructure Weekly, making development known.
Now to the program proper. The federal government at the beginning of the year laid out a program of action to commission the over 100 projects in the transmission unit of the power sector value chain, and as the year gradually draws to a close, the managing director of the Transmission Company of Nigeria, Usman Gur Mohammed, has given an account of where the sector is in a meeting with stakeholders in Abuja. Let's take a listen.
In 2015, the capacity of power distribution companies, DISCOs, was about 3,500 megawatts, while those of transmission and generation companies were 5,000 megawatts and 4,000 megawatts respectively. But that has changed.
On critical investment in line and substation, we have been tackling it in four ways. One, we are using in-house capacity to install equipment. We use TCN engineers to install those equipment that are in our substation that have not been contracted. Under that arrangement, we have succeeded in installing several equipments and transformers across the country.
As of December 2017, the capacity of distribution moved from 3,500 megawatts to 5,224 megawatts. For transmission, the capacity moved from 5,000 megawatts to 7,124 megawatts in December last year, when the company carried out the simulation. And generation also moved slightly above what it was previously.
I also want to tell you that the component of the World Bank, which is the NETAP, the NETAP is supposed to target only the existing substations. And the existing substation and existing line should be consistent with N-1, meaning any equipment that goes out should not affect the supply of the area. That is the intention, isn't it? I want to tell you that that project is also on track.
The Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, discloses that it had secured $1.63 billion from sources which include the federal government and multilateral agencies to increase its electricity transmission capacity under the Transmission Rehabilitation and Expansion Program, TREP.
Automatically, we believe that we are going to increase the capacity of the grid from the mere 8,000 to at least above 10,000 by just doing this reconducting. And those lines that we're going to reconduct are this: from Ikeja West to Alimosho to Ogba to Ota, and then from Ogba also to Alausa, and also from at 132 from Onitsha to Nibo, and then from Nibo to Nibo Oka to Oji River. We are also going to reconduct from Aba to Itu, and also from Kaduna to Zaria to Funtua to Gusau, and also from Birnin Kebbi to Sokoto. By doing that, automatically we are likely going to increase the capacity of the grid to slightly above 10,000 megawatts.
The company's managing director notes that the $1.63 billion will ensure that the TCN build its electricity wheeling capacity within months in order to achieve increase in transmission to above 10,000 megawatts.
The good news I also want to tell you that transmission has again moved again. We did a simulation about 2 weeks ago, and the capacity of transmission has moved to 8,100 megawatts. We have not failed. We are going to fulfill the promise that we have done to expand the grid to at least 20,000 megawatts by 2021.
In the last 3 years, several power transformers had been installed across the network, but there was not enough lines to take power to them. These constituted idle capacities in the network. For the Muhammadu Buhari-led administration, the good news and next level is that transmission has again moved up after the latest simulation, and the capacity of transmission is now at 8,100 megawatts.
Still staying with the power sector, as part of effort aimed at ensuring the availability of power, especially in industries all over the country, the federal government came up with the program tagged Eligible Customers Initiative. Since then, some organizations have joined the queue either on the part of the DISCOs or the Transmission Company of Nigeria to have a dedicated power to aid their production. And eligible customers with the Transmission Company of Nigeria spoke to Infrastructure Weekly on his experience of the program so far.
To be honest with you, for us, that has been our only saving grace. That's the reason why we are still existing today. And the supply has been better because they are now the ones solving those problems. And they respond, in fact, they even preempt our faults and do preventive maintenance, unlike before, where we have to wait for 2 days, 3 days before we get a response when there's issue on the line or when there are issues of supply. They preempt now, they tell us, okay, shut down, we want to maintain your line, and all those things are there. So I think we are able to cope right now because of the supply from TCN. At least we're having close to 40% savings in energy cost. Right now, we are able to operate at least at 60% capacity. 60% not because we do not want to operate at 100%, but because of the purchasing power of the populace. As soon as that improves, I'm sure we'll be struggling to expand. We'll be rushing to expand. Right now, from our operation base, we're able to run at 100% capacity. What is concerning us now is no more power. It's now demand from the general masses. So as soon as that picks up, which I believe will pick up very soon, fortunately maybe next year, I'm sure we'll be able to operate at even 120% capacity. And this is what every manufacturer needs. This is what we all need, so that we can all stay afloat and be able to create jobs.
So much for the power sector and the program we're still Infrastructure Weekly. You can get in touch with us on the social media handles shown on your screen. And when we return, we'll be talking about the work sector with the award of an additional sum of 1.6 billion naira to the Shegudu-Oweto Road project and a visit to the local Oweto Bridge, which is an abandoned project before the advent of the current administration. Stay tuned.
Dear lottery operator, you've done a remarkable job so far getting into a business that has been highly criticized for many years. You've done well to uphold your credibility and boost confidence in the business. Kudos to you. This is just to remind you of the rules of the game as prescribed by the National Lottery Regulatory Commission. Gaming is not for persons under 18. Underage gaming is prohibited. Report illegal operators to the Commission and also always remember the regulatory job of the Commission. Whatever your category, lotteries, sport betting, promos, scratch cards, games, it is the duty of the Commission to protect lottery players and the operators as well as promote transparency and accountability. Licensees are also expected to play their part, which includes remittances to the National Lottery Trust Fund. For more information, please go to natlotteregcom.gov.ng. The National Lottery Regulatory Commission. Lottery, the right way.
If you're just joining us, the program is still Infrastructure Weekly. For comments, inquiries and feedback, you can get in touch with us on Facebook, Infrastructure Weekly, and on Twitter at infra_weekly. We move on now. The federal government has approved the award of an additional 1.6 billion naira for the construction of the Oweto-Shegudu Road between Nasarawa and Benue States. Minister of Power, Works and Housing, Babatunde Fashola, disclosed this after the Federal Executive Council meeting in Abuja. He added that this is designed to ensure the swift completion of the road.
Good afternoon. We had only one memorandum, and it was just a cost review memorandum, really, to approve cost variations on the Oshegbudu-Oweto Road. That road, as you might know, links the local Oweto Bridge, which is now substantially completed. The Oshegbudu-Oweto Road links the road to that bridge on the Benue side that helps connect Nasarawa from the local side to Benue. The importance of the local Oweto Bridge, which we have substantially now completed, is that it is the bridge that links the north and south of Nigeria. Unlike the old Niger Bridge and the second Niger Bridge, which link the east and the west. And this road will substantially, linking the bridge, reduce journey time from that part of the country and the eastern part of Nigeria, especially people who link through Makurdi, Enugu, and all of that coming to Abuja. It will reduce their journey time to a couple of hours instead of about a few days that it currently takes. So the revision for that contract was, I believe, 1.6 billion naira extra, because the contract was awarded using 2010 rates, and the contractor asked for a review to cushion costs and naira depreciations, and council approved that. Contractor is still on site working, and he will feel comforted now that at least his rates have been approved, and expect that his certificates will be paid.
Still staying with the work sector, the federal government has reopened the Ijora Bridge to traffic a few months after it was closed for repairs. Federal Controller of Works in Lagos, Adedamola Kuti, says the reopening of the bridge is a show of commitment by the federal government to continue to provide the right infrastructure for all Nigerians.
5 months ago, a section of the Ijora-Apapa Bridge was closed for repairs following wear and tear and damages, and it was expected to take about a year to complete the makeover for a bridge which is a vital link to the nation's premier port and the surrounding areas. But today, just 5 months after, the bridge is ready for reopening and able to withstand traffic of vehicles, goods and people. Federal Controller of Works in Lagos State, Adedamola Kuti, who declared the bridge opened for use on behalf of the federal government, said it is a show of commitment to the welfare and business of Nigerians who use the port's complex and the network of roads around it.
For those who were using this bridge before it was closed down, before the commencement of the repair works, it was really in a very, very terrible shape. You know, it was really bad. All the expansion joints were thoroughly bad, and now once you begin to drive, you will see the smoothness, and of course the entire brick surfacing was replaced. That one involved milling of the bad asphalt and then resurfacing with fresh modified asphalt.
Controller, who also inspected the resurfacing of the third mainland bridge, assured Lagos residents of a hitch-free movement during the Yuletide. He also said the bridge will continue to be opened to traffic.
Periodic maintenance, routine maintenance, and special maintenance. You know, there are certain things that you routinely do on some of these bridges, like coming to paint the rails, opening up all the drainages, ensure that once it rains, water finds its level. Those are part of the job that will be done by my own office, and we shall continue to do that. You see, the issue of flooding on this bridge is going to be a thing of the past. Everywhere is opened. Everywhere is open. All the drainage pipes are already open. So even once it rains, you expect free flow of water.
The controller who was in charge of the repairs and fortification of the Ijora Bridge had earlier thanked the federal government for the confidence reposed in its organization to see through the project. He added that this is why the company did all it could to complete the project in record time.
And I believe that the drivers will speak on our behalf. Let's interview the drivers today, tomorrow, whatever you feel like. They will tell you what they feel the difference between then to now. I'm here, first of all, we have the 12 months of guarantee of maintenance. But I'm here, Alga, the best of the line, and I don't see any reason that something will happen. Usually you are taking a maintenance for 20 to 30 years. Depends how rough the end users are using the bridge.
For comments, feedback and inquiries on the program, get in touch with us on any of the social medias handles shown on your screen. And join us after this break for more on the program as we hit the home stretch.
Dear lottery operator, you've done a remarkable job so far getting into a business that has been highly criticized for many years. You've done well to uphold your credibility and boost confidence in the business. Kudos to you. This is just to remind you of the rules of the game as prescribed by the National Lottery Regulatory Commission. Gaming is not for persons under 18. Underage gaming is prohibited. Report illegal operators to the Commission and also always remember the regulatory job of the Commission. Whatever your category, lotteries, sport betting, promos, scratch cards, games, it is the duty of the Commission to protect lottery players and the operators as well as promote transparency and accountability. Licensees are also expected to play their part, which includes remittances to the National Lottery Trust Fund. For more information, please go to natlotregcom.gov.ng. The National Lottery Regulatory Commission. Lottery the right way.
As we hit the home stretch today, we take you first to the rail sector, where the federal government has disclosed that the Lagos-Ibadan standard gauge rail will commence operation in February 2019. Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amaichi disclosed this after an inspection tour of the sites.
All over the globe, whether in the Western world or elsewhere, freight of goods and services are mostly done through rail, with some countries such as India, United States of America, and others having railway system that are centuries old. The railway system in Nigeria, like most former colonies of Britain, are also centuries old, but established with the sole aim of evacuating agricultural products from remote parts of the country for export. The rail system in Nigeria has been in a near state of collapse over the last 3 decades. Attempts have been made to resuscitate the rails, ranging from the regime of former military president Ibrahim Babangida to former head of state Sani Abacha, and through the years of Olusegun Obasanjo, Umar Yar'Adua and Goodluck Jonathan. But all did not lead to anything tangible, with the concessioning agreement originally reached during the Abacha years, the basis upon which later ones involving the Obasanjo, Yar'Adua and Goodluck Jonathan government leading to the Abuja Metro line, whose phase 1 was completed by the Buhari administration. With the completion of the aforementioned project and the Abuja-Kaduna Rail Line 2, attention has shifted to the first phase of the Lagos-Kano Standard Gauge Rail Line from Lagos to Ibadan. Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi, who was on hand to again inspect the project, said the government expects its delivery by February 2019.
They are progressing rapidly. I forgot to even ask the meeting to acknowledge that publicly, but since I forgot, maybe the next meeting on the 18th, I will do that. The weather is no longer an issue. The element was an issue before, but now it's not. Almost all the bridges have been completed. Almost all, barely 2. Let's not talk in terms of percentage, but almost nearly all the bridges have been completed. Nearly all, I didn't say all. And by the time we come on the 18th, if we're not careful, only one will be left. And that one will be nearing completion.
He added that though challenges abound in the delivery of rail projects across the country, but that the federal government is determined to ensure the delivery of the first phase of Lagos-Kano rail project to Ibadan.
What's the terminal? Terminal is where passengers gather to go. So even if they stand somewhere, take the Tape, there was no station. It was just a platform for passengers to gather and but I changed it to say no, there must be station, because tomorrow you will say have you seen where they have railway without station? So I said build stations. That's why when they told me that listen, this rail was designed not to have stations, so start running. I said okay, you can start running, but they must continue to build stations, and the stations are under construction.
He called on all Nigerians to do more to protect public utilities, but in place to ease movement of goods, services, and people, and aid economic development.
They are having challenges. That's the greatest problem we have, because they are having challenges. The challenges are numerous. We didn't experience those challenges here. They talked about being attacked by communities. They talked about being attacked by armed robbers, equipment being stolen. We didn't experience that between Abeokuta and Ibadan. So I've told them to also brace up with that and get the security men involved so they can be protected.
Lastly, on today's edition of the program, the Minister of Power Works and Housing, Babátúndé Fáṣọlá, has disclosed that the federal government will continue to give honor to whom it's due with the completion of Nnamdi Azikiwe Mausoleum in Onitsha.
The Nigerian Minister of Power Works and Housing, who was in Onitsha to inspect the progress of works done on the Nnamdi Azikiwe's Mausoleum in Onitsha, Anambra State. He said the Buhari administration decided to walk on Zik's place as a mark of honor to the late sage after successive administrations had abandoned the project.
In 2016, with His Highness the Obi of Onitsha, this was a project that was a matter of very big concern, and we had a mandate from the president to do all that was needful to finish it. And this is, I think, my third or fourth visit here, monitoring from then. But you didn't accuse us of politics then. Now that it is finished, if this is politics, I'm proud of this politics. This is developmental politics. So if it's politics, this is good politics. Falls under the housing sector, and the leadership of the permanent secretary and the director of public buildings, Onoja, and his team and our contractors who have kept faith. They said that they will finish before year end, and I'm proud to be here to come and say that they've kept their word. And as my brother said, this is just one of many more things that are coming to conclusion at the time that they should come to conclusion.
For his part, Minister of Labour and Employment Chris Ngigi said the completion of the project is a welcome development and an honor to all Indigbo.
The Southeast people have been starved of infrastructure. Infrastructure, even that their late father, Owele, father of Nigeria, his resting place, which previous government had promised to do, they didn't do that. So there's nothing political. We are doing what we're supposed to do.
With the mausoleum now completed, Fáṣọlá said what remained was the furnishing of the complex. From there, he went to the Federal Secretariat Complex, Oka, where he gave assurance that the APC-led government would ensure payment are made for all projects undertaken by the President Muhammadu Buhari-led government.
Even at the time when we had $100 per barrel of money, and when the president says, where did the money go? They say he should stop talking about yesterday. This is the link between corruption and development. If they had paid this contractor, he would have finished. We started paying him when we came. And so if they hadn't stolen the money, clearly this would have finished. And they've denied people work. That's the truth. The young man I saw there who was doing screening says he earns 30,000 naira a week if money comes. If materials come, what brings materials is money. So if government didn't pay, that young man won't find work. This man won't be here. All the people he's employing won't be there. So that's a link between corruption and poverty and development.
That's all on this week's edition of the program. Join us again next week for another interesting package. Until then, be a good citizen. Pay your tax and drive safely during this Yuletide rush. I am Ajibola Onwuchekwa. Bye for now.